greatest night of television is here tomorrow.
Well, do you have an unused credit card lying around the house just in case you need it just one day? Well, it might be doing more harm than good. Unused credit in Australia is at the highest level in over 2 decades, according to new figures from Finder. And that could be actually harming your credit score and therefore your ability to get a bank loan. So how can you beat the banks and other financial institutions at their own game? We've been trying for a long time. With the answers, Kate Browne from finder.com.au. Good morning to you, and Lloyd Smith from GetCreditScore.com.au. Kate, first to you. How much unused credit are Australians actually sitting on due to these unused cards?
Yeah, look, we've done some research and people are sitting on about $9,000 of unused credit, which sounds good. It sounds like that's a good thing, but actually that can affect your credit score.
I had this conversation actually with my husband the other day. We'd changed banks and he said, well, let's just keep that credit card just in case we need it. That's not the right approach.
It's not, and again, it sounds really counterintuitive. You think, well, if it's sitting there and I'm not using it, that's absolutely fine, and I can use it if I have an emergency. But your credit score is calculated on your credit limit, not on actually how much you're using. So if you have one there for emergencies, but you might only use it once every 2 years, there's a potential it's going to hurt your credit score. You'd be much better off lowering the limit if you need a higher limit, actually asking the bank to up it, pay it down and bring it back down rather than have it sitting there.
So even if there's nothing on the card, it still counts?
That's right, yeah.
Right. Lloyd, how many people actually check their credit scores? I don't think I've ever checked mine. Maybe a bit too afraid to have a look.
Yeah, so on GetCreditScore, we've had over 1.5 million Australians check their credit score with us. It's definitely a growing trend. More and more people are becoming more aware of it, but we definitely want to increase that. I think there's an urge for people to check it more constantly.
I think people only check it when they have an issue, right? Someone comes back to them and says, we're not going to lend you any money, then they start looking into it. So what can actually checking your credit score reveal, and what kind of documentation do you need to actually do it?
Yeah, so it's really easy to actually check your credit score. So on our website, all you need is just your driver's licence. And essentially it will reveal your risk. So when you apply for a credit card, for example, or a personal loan, a bank will pull your credit report to decide if what kind of risk you have. And so with a credit score, the higher your credit score, the less risk you are. So it's more likely that they'll lend you that credit.
Okay, so that's what determines your credit score. The question we all want to know is how can you actually improve it, Lloyd?
Yeah, so probably the most common way is that you will be paying your bills on time every time moving forward. So you really want to make sure of that, because if you're not, an overdue debt will actually hinder your credit score. So it's really important that you're making those loan repayments every time. Also, do your credit homework. So if you are looking to take out a credit card, don't just go and apply for 3 credit cards all at once. Do your research, find which one's best for you, and apply for just that one. Also, make sure that you are ticking the check boxes, so making sure that you have the minimum income required to hit to take out the credit card.
And that's what you're speaking about, isn't it, Kate? Owning that credit profile and making sure you have a really clear idea of how much balance you have and also how much debt you owe. But also, even in the UK now, people who pay their rent on time actually find it easier to get a mortgage thanks to a better credit score. So you need to really think about all of those factors.
You do. It's sort of your financial identity. So you don't want to have no identity. So we've seen people now using things like Afterpay instead of credit cards. And an issue with that is that's not helping build a good credit identity. So you want to strike a balance. You want to have some credit and be seen to be paying it off and doing all those good things, but not going crazy, obviously, and taking out heaps of credit cards or having a really high credit limit.
And we've all got a bit of a rogue telephone bill from uni days or whatnot, but after 5 years it sort of does reset itself.
Change your address. It sounds so crazy, but if you have moved, change your address, update it so your bills are coming to you and not going AWOL.
A very simple tip. Thank you, Kate. Thank you very much, Lloyd, for all of your advice. Over to you, Basil.
Good on you, Eddie. Thank you. It's a terrible indictment on 2019 when so many